What's up, everybody? Stephen Bogren here, Pro Physique, and today I wanted to talk about the difference between hunger and appetite. Hey, everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Right now I am in Central Park. Haha, just kidding. By the time I put this up, it's going to be next week, and I'll be back in Florida. But just to give you a little taste of what it's kind of looking like out here, it is gorgeous. I'm at one of the reservoirs. I figured this would be a really good place just for us to sit down and talk about the subject of what is the difference between hunger and appetite. Now, you might hear some people running behind me and around me. I am out in public. They had the New York Triathlon going on this week, actually. So if you see some notable edits, that's why. Now, the first thing that you really want to think about when you're trying to make the differentiation is, why is it even important to note that there's a difference between hunger and appetite? Does it matter? Yeah. When we talk about hunger, we're talking about the body's natural physiological response of needing food. This means I'm in a caloric deficit. It's time to eat, right? This is not, I'm bored, I'm stressed out, I'm sad. This is, I need sustenance to continue to go on. So when we talk about hunger, we can talk about eating for fuel, eating for performance, eating to fuel the activity, these sorts of things. That's what we want to focus on in terms of hunger. When we talk about appetite now becomes that feeling. So I feel hungry. It's what we normally associate hunger with, is appetite. Like, I'm sitting at home, I haven't eaten in an hour or two, I kind of want a snack. I don't have anything taking up my attention right now. I'm kind of bored. I want something to eat. I had a stressful day at work, right? Even though I just had dinner, I still want to continue eating because I'm stressed out. So these things are all appetite related. Now, the important distinction is that we look at the difference between need and want. When we talk about eating for our needs, it's actually kind of fitting because, like I said, there's a lot of people running around me, and they had the New York Triathlon today. You need to eat a certain amount of food to fuel your activity. You need to eat a certain amount of food to fuel your body just through the basic metabolic processes. The basic, I'm going to survive. Right? Now, we all have fat stores that will be some sort of fuel. We all have carbohydrate stores in the form of glycogen. We have both muscle glycogen and liver glycogen. Those both help to support us when we do not have any food coming in, right? It is a stored fuel. You have about 2,000 calories worth of glycogen in your body, both combined liver and muscle glycogen. Most people have about 100,000 calories in fat storage. So why do we always feel so hungry? Well, one issue can be an emotional trigger, an emotional response. So when we talk about appetite, right? I'm hungry. I want to eat. I need to eat. This is when this becomes an issue, right? Because we have emotional triggers to appetite. Stressful days, social situations, these sorts of things. So if we're in a dieting phase and calories are low, it's important that we understand and we pay attention to the things that signal our appetite. Now, when we look at those signaling factors, things that signal appetite, they signal I'm hungry, the I want to eat factor, right? Now, we can't always control those. We can't control if we had a stressful day at work. We can't control if we're out with friends and there's a social environment and we can't control that. That's just sort of how society is. Well, so we want to look at the factors that we can control. So when we look at the things that trigger stress eating, we want to look at how we perceive the situations. We can never stop stressful situations from happening. We can never control what other people are doing. Therefore, all we can do is control how we respond and how we perceive. Perception determines reality. This is true in many, many, many situations, and really just all throughout life. If you perceive something to be overwhelming, it's overwhelming. And if it's overwhelming, well, then why should we even try? This is an issue because this is when the effort factor comes in. So an overwhelming situation happens, a stress response to eat. Now, well, I cannot control the situation anymore because I've already gone over my macros. I've already eaten the ice cream, done whatever it was that I wasn't supposed to do. So now the effort factor, well, it's out of my control. I might as well just keep going. I'll get back on track at a different time. This is an important time that it is crucial that you pay attention to your perceptions of the situation. It's okay to have a slip up. It's okay to mess up. Everybody does that. But we want to be back on track as soon as we possibly can. When we have a mess up, we get back up. It's just like anything else, right? One of the things that I like to tell all my clients, if you mess up, if you go over, if something's gone off plan, tell me about it. Message me. We can do some things to move stuff around to where we can still be at least on track for the weekly goals. But if you get into the effort mentality, you get overboard, things are gone, and it really, really, really makes it difficult to reel everything back in and to still hit your total goals for the week. But what about social factors? I want to diet, I want to be successful in my fitness goals and my body composition goals, but I also want to continue to hang out with my friends. So going out to eat is a completely different beast. It's a different kind of monster. And one of the things that you want to do when you go out to eat is to do a couple things. So one, something that I've said before, stick close to things that you're comfortable with, that you're familiar with when you're eating. Things that you know how to track, things that you know how to count, and you can estimate pretty well. The other thing is to make sure that you pay attention to the menu, and you make special requests if you're very low calorie. So if your calories are low, you don't have a lot of fat, you want to make sure that they're not doing things like cooking in oils, using extra butters, that sort of things on any kind of broccoli or vegetables you might be getting. These are just easy ways to help mitigate and still be able to go out, eat with your friends, have social dinner conversations, and still work within your numbers. Now, if your numbers are a little bit higher, you might not have to worry about that. You might have to worry more so about things like drinking, alcohol, wine, beers, those sorts of things. And at that point, you want to just try and make those work into your numbers as well, and moderation is always going to be your friend. And these are just some really simple things to keep in mind that are going to help you to stay on track and to hit your goals. Because when it comes down to it, consistency is our best friend. That should always be our main point to hit, is to be consistent. If we're being consistent, we're going to continually make progress towards the goals. A lot of people want to be perfect, and perfect doesn't really have much of a place when we talk about making improvements, because there is no such thing as perfect. The human body is always changing, it is always adapting. Metabolism is always doing the same thing, so it is always sort of this moving target that we have to hit. So if your idea is that you need to be perfect and that everything has to be 100% all the time, that is a bad place to be, because it is going to get you to go to that effort mentality real quick. So remember, hunger, that's what your body needs. Appetite is that feeling of being hungry, what we normally associate that with. So it's a real long-winded way to talk about a very simple difference and some very, hopefully, simple fixes to help you stay on track and to continue hitting your goals. Well, guys, from New York City, Central Park, have a great week. Stephen Bogran. Bye.